Welcome everyone. I'm Matt, this is Desiree. We're here on Monday, March 19th, 2018 with your intermediate class recap. Today was the second part of our mini competition prep series since Boston Tea Party is coming up this weekend. We have Swing in the Spring coming up a little bit later on in May, and some of us are looking forward to possibly competing for the first time at those events. Thought it'd be good to do a little overhaul. First thing we talked about today was character of the dance. Specifically, what's the character of West Coast Swing, and how is that different from characters of other dance? We talked about Lindy Hop, East Coast Swing, Rumba Cha-Cha, Waltz Tango Foxtrot. We talked a little bit about some of the characters of those dances, and it's good to be aware of those if you have a background in those dances, because those habits will probably carry over to your West Coast Swing. So you didn't have to answer in class, but think about that for as your homework, what dances you did before you started West Coast, what those dances have that you might be carrying over unintentionally into your West Coast Swing. We talked about how the character of West Coast Swing is as well. We talked a little bit about this last week with the rolling through our feet. This week we talked about trying to keep our upper bodies totally still. So you imagine if there was a table in front of us with a tablecloth, that we'd look kind of like we were ghosts dancing back and forth. Next thing we talked about was keeping our legs straight. So for something like a Lindy Hop, I'm thinking about on the pulse of each beat bending into my knees. For West Coast Swing, I'm thinking about straightening each leg. So as we dance through our patterns, I want to try to come to a straight leg all the time. It's a little bit harder to do on the triples, but with some work, you can definitely all get there. Next thing we talked about was our posture for West Coast Swing. I don't want to try to stand up by straightening my spine. I also don't want to slouch like I'm sitting at my office chair. I want to try to find the natural curve of my spine. So our spines naturally have a little bit of an S shape. I want to have naturally good posture and just allow that curve to exist. We can do that a little bit. We practice standing up straight, slouching, and then trying to find the natural curve with the partner, and then dancing. We also talked a little bit about our pitch. So think about pitch as the angle from the hip to the shoulder. It's not from my head. I don't pitch forward by moving my head forward. I also don't pitch forward by moving my entire body forward. That's just shifting my weight onto the balls of my feet. I want to tilt so that my shoulders pitch a little bit forward and my hips pull a little bit back. We talked about that water bird toy as a good analogy. So same thing with the partner. We practice finding the forward pitch, going too far forward, going backward, too far backward, hanging out backwards, probably too far backward, but try to find that natural forward pitch and then dancing. Last thing we talked about was our shoulders and our frame. How we don't want to get overextended, even if, let's say, our leader is leading us off time. We also don't want to lock our elbows. But we're responsible for our own arms and shoulders, right? No matter what Desiree does, and no matter what I do, I'm not going to give up this connection. So not locked and not shoulder overextended.
And not locked in here at a 90-degree angle either.
That was a lot of information. Definitely don't try to practice all of those things in one song. Pick one, that song, the next song, maybe switch it up. Thank you all so much for coming. Hope you enjoyed the class, and let's have a very thought-filled dance.